indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mary. Commissioner Wilkinson?
Here.
Commissioner Justardens?
Here.
Commissioner Byrd?
Here.
Commissioner Prunick?
Here.
Mayor Barry?
Here. Okay, item B, public comment, 4-minute limit.
I don't like to stand.
We'll let you go tonight since there's so
Okay,
many.
thank you. I came with concern about the tennis courts. They're in terrible shape. We have a boys team and a girls team within the school. Can we do something about, even practicing, trying to practice on this court and go in a tournament somewhere else and be competitive? You never know where your ball's gonna go, because it's in such terrible shape. I know it was resurfaced a while back. From what I've heard from a lot of people is that it wasn't done properly, so that's why it is in as bad a shape it is as quickly. And the other thing is I think it was in the fall, vandalism. Somebody started peeling up. Can we do something about that?
I think that we have some good news. Devin, I'm gonna do.
Yes, we have Tennis Courts Unlimited resurfacing the court the third week of June.
Look at that seashell.
Yeah, and we've been planning on every 5 years doing it, 15, 20, and 25.
Is it gonna be resurfaced like it was last time?
It is going to be a little bit different application process, and we have tighter requirements for tolerances on the moisture content in the air and the weather.
Awesome, thank you.
Great. Are you good? Is that good? Awesome, okay, we'll continue on then. Item C, consent agenda, unless anybody has any questions.
I just have one quick question. Are they still on pace, or what is the ETA for the boat launch?
Nothing's changed, still have a June 22nd substantial completion date, and as the updated schedule that they provided still has that. It looks like Baco's gonna be here potentially right after 4th of July, and that may be something we have to wait on, but at this point, substantial completion, which is the, basically getting rough grade, compacted gravel, and having it be usable, is still at 22nd.
That's all I have.
Anybody else? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Prunick, supported by Commissioner Byrd to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Aye, motion carried. Okay, item D, new business. Number 1, mayoral appointment of Jody Irving to the planning commission. You've got an application request for her in your packet. I think she'll be a great fit.
I do too. Are there specific slots for the planning commission like the DDA did?
Yes, there is one city commission representative, and that's
Right.
currently Bob Wilkinson, but that is the only reserved spot.
It is,
The
okay.
other 6 are at will.
They just have to be residents,
Yes.
okay.
Does that make it whole now?
No, we still have one open spot.
What do you think, Bob?
I didn't get the application.
You got mine?
Still going.
Didn't see it in there. That's okay.
I've known Jody when she was the manager of the Subway. Ran a good business. Dedicated to the community. I think she would be a good fit.
I agree. I've worked with her recently
Yeah.
on some things.
I would move that we approve the mayor's appointment of Jody Irving to the planning commission.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Justardens and supported by Commissioner Wilkinson to approve the appointment of Jody Irving to the planning commission. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Item number 2, cross contract and pay request number 3 for the tourist park bathrooms, an amount of $19,045.80.
Yep, this is a progress billing from Cross Construction. They are in the middle of essentially reinstalling items. Most recently, the largest change is that they had their subcontractor do the epoxy flooring in that bathroom. Previously, we had like a painted flooring type epoxy that was not as commercial grade as we liked. And we went to an actual two-part epoxy system. It's fantastic. If you get a chance, stop on out. Everything's still on track. In fact, they are still ahead of schedule by about 3 weeks in terms of what their substantial completion date is. And we're hoping to be online by next week at the campground.
When will the campground open, next week?
Hopefully.
And when will we put that well online?
As soon as we have the water treatment aspects figured out with the RO system we have to put in.
Anybody else have any questions regarding it? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I will move we approve the pay request for Cross Construction in the amount of $19,045.80.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Prunick to approve Cross General Contracting pay request number 3 for the tourist park bathrooms in the amount of $19,045.80. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3, Bay Shore Well House change order number 2, increase of $9,695.06.
Yes, change order from the contractor. I've been working with them on a couple of items, most notably for the change order, going from a keyed lock that would have the same key as all of our other facilities and going to an actual key code lock that's going to be electronic. And then this also incorporates all of the additions we needed for the wiring and electrical issues we ran into on that property, with that being that 13,000 or 14,000 volt primary crossing the one section, and then UPCO requiring an electrician reroute the internal electrical in the existing Bay Shore well house before they'll run their temporary electric to that. So with the tree removal required to facilitate that.
There's something going off inside my head, sorry. Why did we cut the trees?
We had to cut the trees because we have to have a temporary power service run through them, and then we have to remove them for the footprint of that new building, and then all of the piping work we have to do underground around it.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the change order for Bay Shore Well House to the increase of $9,695.06.
I'll support.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Birch to approve the Bay Shore Well House change order number 2, increase of $9,695.06. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 4, ordinance number 12, peace and good order. I know we've sent this out because point brought up at the last meeting from Commissioner Birch, and so it has been sent to Bill Nordine, our city attorney, and he has come back with his opinions, and Devin, I'm going to defer to you, yes, if you don't mind.
So, the Public Peace and Good Order Ordinance is an older ordinance adopted in the mid-90s. I believe actually early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. The review that was requested from the city attorney was essentially a full review of the ordinance in its entirety for the constitutionality of all aspects of that. What the city attorney has provided is a legal analysis, including the basis of his review being the Home Rule City Act, and then as well as reference to precedent law cases that is being included. And then in closing, he provides a review with a subject of 2 items being abusive or obscene language, and then the other item that he has requested that if has recommended be tightened up is that abusive language, so obscene gestures and abusive language.
So basically, we're just as a discussion only point right now, and if there was more to be discussed, that we should defer it till our next meeting when Attorney Nordine is here.
I'd just like to point out 2 things. We're not contrary to the Second Amendment or contrary to the First Amendment.
That,
And I prefer to think of our states as being united rather than untied.
so there's a couple of those aspects in here. There's one that I do have a legitimate question on that's procedural, if you don't mind me bringing it up now. So in the city charter, which he references, and I didn't mark up this copy, he says that there's an automatic severance to anything that is unconstitutional in our ordinance. If that's an automatic sever based on the city charter, and we have this opinion, what is the procedure and the timing for it being stricken? Because if we know that it's unconstitutional, and we just say, if it's unconstitutional, it's automatically out, do we have to go through public posting? Do we have to have the 2 meetings? From a procedural standpoint, I'm curious about that. And if it's the purview of the mayor to wait for further questions and discussion until next meeting, then I can wait. But that procedural aspect, I think, is something that we need to have him look at, so he's got the answer ready for next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question for the attorney on
Yeah,
exactly, because
it would be it would be.
in my experience, we've never amended an ordinance based on the constitutionality clause. It's always been for an updating or an inclusion of something new, or just an overall like water sewer ordinances. So that would be a great question on the constitutionality aspect and how it affects the procedural side.
Okay.
And then, yes, any other questions? So we will table this until the next meeting when he is present. So I would entertain.
I move that we
Thank you.
table the item until the next meeting when the city attorney is present.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Prunett to table this item, agenda item until next meeting when Bill Nordin can be present. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion is carried. All right, item 5, Insura LLC Professional Services, the PA tot lot toy removal and installation at Browns Edition tot lot and toy removal and installation at Tourist Park for $13,750.
Yes, this is a professional services quote for the removal of the items currently in the Browns Edition playground, with the exception of the blue climbers, because they're in tough enough shape where I don't think they could get them out without ruining them. The plastic's degraded and sun faded. And then this also includes the transportation and the reinstallation at the campground itself. And that is, the bigger items for us is that looking at it, I made the assumption that it would take at least 4 guys, 4 to 5 days with heavy equipment to have us do that removal. And at that point, I have DPW employees here, but I don't know how well we'd be able to keep track of every single
Brad
bolt
doing
and
that.
He by
brackets
himself.
and do the reinstall, because this is a little bit different than a little bit different function than we're typically used to. So we reached out to them. They said that they would prefer to actually do the uninstall themselves, so they are able to keep track of everything, and they're experienced in it. This is a holistic start to finish uninstall and reinstall.
Are they the ones installing the new stuff?
They are, yep. So they are also the MyDeal supplier of playground equipment and also the contracting side of it for the installation.
How do we determine this is professional services for which we don't need competitive bids?
Because playground installations have a special requirement for, there's a standard for installation, and a general contractor really typically doesn't understand those. It's anything from how far below the grade your concrete base has to be, to how much fill you need on top of it, to the intricate nature of actually playground equipment in on itself.
If you're comfortable with that determination, so am
I am, because by pencil sketches with all of our equipment and staff time on it is very close to that whole price alone.
Do you have an estimated time on it?
Yeah, next week.
Cool.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be starting next week. They're actually down in Ohio finishing up an install. If you drive by, all of the equipment was delivered
Yes.
last Friday, and it's on site ready for them.
Also, didn't you say, though, if we did uninstall it ourselves, and they reinstalled it themselves, then
Yes,
I'm sure
so-
the cost would increase.
Yes, going back to us not being able to manage the uninstall as efficiently and effectively as what they may be able to, their price for reinstalling it and then having the material that they expect would have to be replaced, that we would mess up, not to speak of our ability.
I agree on it.
Okay, all right. Is that that's the install price, it's not 50-50 split, it's a much different split, 75% install, 25% what have you, so.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? It's new playground equipment, awesome. Hearing no more questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept I assume this is accepting the bid and not just approving the cost, or what?
Yep.
So we're accepting a bid for $13,750 from Pintura for removal and reinstall of playground equipment.
I'll support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens, to approve Penchira LLC professional services bid for the Browns Edition top lot toy removal and installation at Tourist Park for $13,750.
Only thing I'd like to add is that, like many things at the campground, this is actually going to be covered by our user surcharge, which is based off of lot rental. So this is actually self-supporting, not coming out of tax dollars.
Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, down to the last public comments section, item E.
I'm sorry to be such a pain. The new items in Browns Edition. I used to go to the top lot a lot of times, and I know talk with somebody here regarding this parking. You can't get to the top lot to even use the playground equipment because of all the businesses around there allowing all their customers. And I know it's a public street, but isn't there something we can do contacting those businesses and saying, please advise your customers not to park in front of the top lot, or have top lot parking in just one specific area?
I don't know.
Because it's very rarely used because you can't park anywhere.
I would refer that to our attorney on how we can select public parking is through a parking ordinance.
Thank you, appreciate the comment. We are at item F, the closed session. Before we go into our closed session, I need to confirm with you, Craig, confirm the candidate confidentiality has been requested?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and they're on file,
Pardon me?
and they're on file.
Okay. All right, hearing that, we will move into closed session.
We'll close the
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you,
It was
guys.
my understanding that we move into closed session as a sub-session of the meeting.
I would move that in accordance with section 8(1)(f) of the Open Meetings Act. We go into closed session to consider the employment applications for the city manager position.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson, that under the Open Meetings Act, section 8(1)(f), to consider employment applications for the city manager position. Can I get a roll call vote? No.
Yes.
Yeah, need a roll.
Well, I need
Yes.
all those in favor. No.
No.
Roll call. Sorry, still figuring this out.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Justardens,
Aye.
Commissioner Bird,
Aye.
Commissioner Prunick,
Aye.
Mayor Barry.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. All right, we are in,
I was just trying to stall it, we took some time.
what numbers again were those?
So I'll make a motion, we direct,
Hold on one second.
1, 2,
please.
4, and 8. 1, 2, 4, 8.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we direct Glenn to contact the applicants,
1, 2, 4, and 8.
1, 2, 4, and 8.
I support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prunick, to direct Glenn Anderson to to contact applicants numbers 1, 2, 4, and 8. Well, 8 would be the alternate. So to determine their intention.
But you're gonna interview them,
Right, we're gonna interview them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I'm sorry,
Right.
yes.
and then if one backs out, you're just gonna do 3.
Then we'll do 3. So you are gonna, contact them, okay. To determine their intention of accepting an invitation for an interview. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, item H, consider offering a stipend for applicant travel costs.
I think it's just, you don't have to, that's
Mhm.
courtesy and all of it, I think you wouldn't obviously offer anything to anyone in the UP, but the other 3 are coming from downstate, they're from Minnesota, so I would suggest a stipend of $300 or $400 to whatever you're comfortable with, to pay for mileage, or pay for their gas at least in a room, because all of them are gonna spend a night
They'll
somewhere
have to
along
spend
the way.
the
There's a couple, if they did the candidates on the west coast, you'd have to maybe do something a little more,
night.
that'd be my suggestion.
I know one question that we had is that, is it typically a stipend or is it a reimbursement?
I think it's simpler to do a stipend,
Stipend.
Okay.
but that just means then you don't have to worry about mileage and
Okay.
if you start saying, that, 400 miles, well, then you gotta almost use the IRS number,
Mhm.
and that's more than just giving them, that's my take. But everybody, you do it whatever you want.
2 from the UP and 2 from downstate.
One from the UP, and then 3, 1 from Minnesota, and 2 from
Oh, or yeah, it's 1 from the UP, 1 from Minnesota, and 2 from downstate.
So 3 are gonna travel somewhat.
$400?
I was thinking
I-
3, but,
I know that when I go back and forth to Lansing, I get 70 cents a mile,
Mhm.
That's the state of Michigan, right?
which is the standard IRS rate.
You can just split it, do 350.
yeah. I mean, I think any, any assistance in the interview process would be good. There's been times I've gone to interviews and not gotten anything.
And some don't.
So, I mean, I'm
I
not
just
saying
look at
that.
it, it's a
I've
more
some-
classy.
We're a class organization.
Yeah.
Are you gonna give that stipend to the person that lives in Munising?
No, out of state, or
Out of
downstate. I say we should put it,
If they have to cross
More
the
than
bridge.
50 miles?
or, well, they've gotta cross Wisconsin.
Well, they got a bridge over there too.
I suppose, coming into, yeah. Or,
$350, I will move that we offer a stipend of $350, or provide a stipend of $350 to the downstate and out-of-state candidates.
I'll support.
okay. Moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson, to offer a stipend for applicant travel costs at 3, or those applicants that are traveling from downstate or Minnesota, or out of state, $300.
Make it out-of-state is,
350.
Yeah,
350.
350, did I
if
say
you say
300?
Minnesota, you're identifying.
No, that's why I changed it to out of state. Okay, after my mumbling, any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried.
And then you should give some thought to what date you want to select for an interview. Of course, that's more up to your personal schedules, but I guess you should start working on that sometime in the next couple of weeks to, keep
You
this
recommend a
process
special
moving.
meeting or,
For each.
I know I don't wanna sit here for 4 hours.
No.
Can you do one in the morning, one in the afternoon for 2 days? I mean, is that, I know,
I got a job.
I'm retired. so
I know, I was
so
gonna
can be
say, it
here all
says the
time.
retiree.
Not easy.
I can do daytime if I have to, I just work up the street.
What about you? You're kinda committed now.
Yeah, I can't. I might be able to do afternoon and go till, work till lunch and then come out. But again, that kind of favors the aspect of them all being on one day. I currently don't work Fridays at all. So if it's a Friday, then I can make that work.
I think we can take them in batches of 2 if we can get all 4 of them to agree to an interview.
I would do 2 at a time, not 4 at a time. I've done it, and by the 3rd or 4th one,
Yeah.
not
You don't want, you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
No.
It's just fatiguing. And I'll make it work on my end, wherever we have to meet.
Flexible, so.
I appreciate your guys' patience with my work schedule.
No, no problem. During these labor things, they're working against my
Yeah,
work
as long as
schedule.
it's, as long as it's after the 19th.
Okay, so we're not determining that today, okay,
Yeah, just give me some dates and let me know.
all right. Other than that, I think,
Make a motion to adjourn?
all right.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prudent to adjourn. Any municipal questions? All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.